Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm Angela and this is La Luna Ray. So today I am going to be sharing with you something that I wish I would have been able to find on YouTube back when I first started working with energy and the like. So what I'm talking about is smudge sticks. As you can see, I've got an entire plate of all different kinds of smudge sticks that I've acquired over the last couple years here. All right, so when I say something I wish I would have been able to find early on in my practice is when you go through YouTube, you will find all kinds of videos about sage and how to work with sage and how to smudge with sage. And that's great. I love working with sage. Honestly, I work with sage every single day. However, when you find yourself at a metaphysical shop and you are standing in front of a beautiful aisle of a ton of different types of smudge sticks, or basically it's just herbs all bundled up. When you are standing at a store and you see all these different types that they're offering for you to buy, you're going to be overwhelmed. You're gonna be like, I don't know. I mean, I know about sage, but what about this juniper? What about this copal? Like, what do these do? Don't worry, I got you. If you keep watching this video, I got you. I can have you completely in the know of what it is that you need in your life when you finally stand in front of that gorgeous pile of different types of herbs that you could be working with. You'll know exactly what energy you want, and you'll know exactly which herb will be calling in the energy you're trying to work with. All you have to do is keep watching. So stay tuned. Okay, so I have got my notes here while I go over all the various herbs I have on this plate here. I don't want to leave out any details that I feel like are important for you. So let's just get started. I've got my coffee. I think I have everything I need here. All right, so the first thing that I have on my list is juniper. Juniper is actually a pretty common one I find. Here it is. That I find when I go, oh no, it's not juniper. Hold on, that's not it. Here it is. Okay, so juniper is actually a pretty common one that I find is often offered or sold at metaphysical shops. But anyway, this is what juniper looks like. It kind of has a look like a pine tree, kind of that type of tree, a coniferous. I think it's called type of trees. But anyway, I love working with these torch lighters. I feel like they really light your smudge sticks nicely. Mine is almost out of butane though, so the flame is a little bit on the lower side, but it still works. So this is juniper. Now the smell of juniper, like we're all familiar with sage, and we all know how some people really don't like the smell of sage. And so you might even have people in your home that don't like the smell of sage that much. And so you're probably, always on the look for a different kind of smudge that might be more palatable, I guess, for people to have to be in the vicinity of. But anyway, I want to kind of go over the smells with them in case you're looking for something that is a less pungent. And when I smell my juniper, I do feel like it is a little bit on the stronger side, not too much, but just a little bit. If I were to compare it to like sage, I think sage has more of a smell to it, but this has also a pungent smell. It smells like pine. It has like that almost a Christmas tree type of scent to it, but I wouldn't say it's something that you can't smell. I mean, it's definitely there, and it definitely has a more stronger scent to it. But I don't mind it. I don't find it. I don't mind it. I don't find it repulsive or anything like that. So, juniper. What I have in my notes is that juniper is the type of herb you want to work with if you are trying to call in balance and positivity into your space. It's great for peace and centeredness. Kind of when you think about a tall tree, like a juniper tree and how strong and resilient that tree is, that will help you understand the strength and resilience that you'll also be calling in while working with this type of herb bundle. So if you want to feel centered, if you want to feel that strong resilience, a peace and a calming energy into your space, if that's what you're calling into your space, a juniper bundle is something that would be great to be working with. So that's juniper. It's really common in our metaphysical shops. The next bundle I have here is dragon's blood. So it's actually dragon's blood with sage. And so I'm thinking they must have just soaked a sage bundle in some kind of dragon's blood solution. And dragon's blood is another type of, I think it's a flower actually, but either way, it has a beautiful scent, dragon's blood. I love the smell of dragon's blood incense and dragon's blood perfumes. I actually really like dragon's blood. Anyway, when it comes to working with a dragon's blood soaked sage bundle, it's really interesting because sage has those properties of that we're all familiar with, reducing negativity, kind of clearing out any unwanted energies in a space. So there's that energy on top of dragon's blood. So dragon's blood energy is very powerful. It's actually a potent energy that amplifies any intention that is already being introduced into that space or whatever it's being introduced into. It just amplifies your intentions you've already set. So working with dragon's blood soaked sage, it's actually really interesting because this will be great for cord cutting. It would be great because it'll clear out whatever negative energy, whatever energy is not for you, which doesn't serve you. And then because the dragon's blood is also so powerful, it will actually create that cord cutting effect as well. And so it's great for if you are trying to get over heartache, anything, if there's just toxic relationships in your life that you feel like you really need to cut the cords up or at least narrow the cord. If you're really against cord cutting, if that seems like it's something that's too abrasive for you to want to do, you can just narrow cords, you know what I mean? You don't have to cut it, it's not going to be as aggressive, but narrowing is great too. What else do I have in my notes so I don't forget? Banishing, that kind of activity is what dragon's blood sage bundle would be great for. Protecting, banishing, and just cord cutting, getting rid of things on a more permanent basis, if that makes sense. And let me light this again. This does actually have a slight sweeter scent added to it from the dragon's blood, but like I said, that sage will not sit down, it will not be quieted, so it does smell mostly like sage. It smells like a regular sage bundle to me, honestly, with maybe a hint of dragon's blood scent to it. Alright, so the next smudge stick that I have here is copal, and I have it right here. So my copal stick, you will find copal sticks are actually very common in metaphysical shops as well. But copal is such an ancient herb to work with. I absolutely love working with it just for that particular reason. You're working with it, I feel like you're really calling in old energies and old ceremonial practices. It almost has this very, like I said, ceremonial feel to it. It's very what's the word I'm thinking of? It's very, I don't know, not just tried and true, but formal. Yeah, in a sense, it kind of almost has a formal feel to it. But as far as scent goes, this is a light scent. It almost smells like grass burning. I don't know. I don't know that I've ever smelled grass burn, but it has like a heavy grass scent to it, but it's not potent. It's actually very light, so it's a nice scent to the copal. So let me look at my notes here. I have down the power of release. So the power of release and clearing blockages aids in helping you release anything that doesn't serve you, allowing your chakras to open and flow, which in turn allows you to function at your best and highest capacity. So that's really interesting, right? Because like I said, they used it in the ancient times And I'm sure back then they believed in its clearing properties and its ability to have them connect with the divine. And that's exactly what you do with Kapol. When you're using it in those ceremonial practices, it's because you believe it's connecting you to the divine a little easier, or at least it aids in your connection. And it makes sense that it would aid in your connection because it's clearing your chakras. And when you're clearing your chakras, clearing those clearing those blockages and balancing your chakras, it's easier for you to be clear, flowing, and connecting. It just aids in that connection. So that's what you want to do when you're lighting Kapol. That's kind of the headspace and the energy that you're inviting into your space when you're lighting your Kapol sticks. So that's Kapol. I absolutely love working with Kapol for those reasons that I said. All right. So the next one I have is Sweetgrass. Here it is. So this is my cute itty bitty Sweetgrass rope that I bought. They come in all kinds of sizes. I have a much longer one that I work with as well. But I thought this is a cute little travel size if you're, on the go and need to bring something with you. So Sweetgrass. I love working with Sweetgrass. It does certainly have a sweeter scent to it. I mean, it still smells like something's burning. Don't think that it won't smell like that. But it has a definite sweeter scent to, a definitely sweeter scent to it. It just has a sweeter smoke scent. So working with Sweetgrass, it's always the same thing. You work with it when you want to call in sweet spirits. And so what I have in my book here is attract good spirits and positive energy. Healing with relaxing properties, relieves stress and tension. I love working with Sweetgrass actually after I've cleansed a space with my sage. One thing that I don't mind going back with is Sweetgrass, because once you cleanse or sage a space, you're actually cleared out that energy completely, right? And you've gotten rid of maybe spirits that are with you that are your guides, or I don't think your guides ever really leave you, but when you clear space, you're clearing the good and the bad. This helps bring back the good. Do you know what I'm saying? You're clearing out all of the energy. You're starting with a blank slate. What you want though is you want to reinvite the things that are good. You want to reinvite God's loving energy. Working with Sweetgrass to ensure that you're calling back in the good parts and the good energy in your life. Sweetgrass helps do that. All right. So that is Sweetgrass. I love working with Sweetgrass. My next bundle is my Mugwort, and you can tell I'm excited to see it. I love working. Did I put it back? I'm sure I'm always working with it, and I probably didn't. Oh, here it is. This is it. So I'm always working with it. I probably took it away and didn't put it back. This is my Mugwort bundle. Can you see it? I have no idea if you can see anything I put in front of you. But I absolutely, look at this dent. Can you see this dent I put in my Mugwort bundle? I don't know if you can see it. But let me tell you, I bought this thing. I was so excited when I bought it. And I got home and I have not stopped using it. I love working with my Mugwort bundle, and I love how this thing lights up and just smokes without hardly doing anything to it. Look at this scent. Look at this scent. Look at the smoke. You don't got to do anything to it. I love this thing. The scent, I'm in love with the scent. I think it smells like nothing else that I've ever smelled, though. It's definitely a strong scent. Might even be stronger than sage, honestly. But I do not care. I absolutely love working with it. I'm sorry, they're doing yard work or something next door. They're doing work all over the place. It's just forever noisy around here. So, anyway, my smudge bundle. What I have in my notes here, that is just... Alright, so what I have in my notes is amplifies... Really? Is any of that necessary? I'll just drink my coffee. Do you think there's a higher setting? I don't think there is. I think that's the highest. It's so loud. It makes me sad. Alright, so I don't think it's gonna stop. So what I have in my notes for my mugwort is amplifies psychic vision, awareness, also aids in prophetic dreams, a perfect herb for scrying or astral traveling or projection. Use this to cleanse your tools. Also provides protection with psychic workings. I've never done this, but they say that if you light mugwort in your room before going to bed, it will aid with prophetic dreams. So there's quite a few things that you can do with mugwort. You can make tea with it. You can do all kinds of things with mugwort. It's a great herb to work with, but however, I'm going to be sticking to the the properties of working with its smoke. And I think it's a great idea to smudge your tools with it. All of your magical tools being smudged with mugwort smoke is an excellent idea. So that's mugwort. So the next bundle I have on my list is, here it is, holding it, Shasta Sage. This is a beautiful sage bundle that comes from Mount Shasta in California. This is a very special place on the planet. So let me get my notes out. This is a desert sage harvested from Mount Shasta in California. This place is believed to be one of the world's chakras, a high energy vortex. So working with this bundle is so interesting because, like I said, they think that this place has a lot of healing properties. They consider it to be a vortex on the earth, and it's one of the earth's chakras. I didn't realize the earth had chakras. At least I had no idea. I never heard of that before. So it's really interesting when you see Shasta Sage being sold. It's good to probably grab it wherever or whenever you see it, because it's only harvested twice a year. Every 6 months, I believe, is when they actually harvest it, because it's such a special place. And you also do want to be wary of, just make sure you have a good source when you're buying your herbs too. I probably should say that at the beginning of the video, but I love to order my herbs. Like, I got this particular bundle from sagegoddess.com. I do get lots of my herbs from that website because I know that the founder of that company is very particular about where she gets her herbs from, and that they're organically harvested and all the things. Sustainably harvested is another thing. Ethically harvested. Anyway, so I always get my herbs from her because I know they're the real deal. And working with Shasta Sage is actually really interesting. I have one particular story, and let me go ahead and light it. I haven't lit it yet. So I was about to do some work, and I just felt like the energy was off. It was actually pretty off in my space, a little more than usual. Now, to cut into my story real quick, the scent of Shasta Sage is nothing like regular sage. Absolutely nothing like it. Nothing like it. It's amazing it's even considered sage, if you ask me. But it doesn't look like it, and it doesn't smell anything like it. It has such a lighter scent to it. Much, much, much lighter. Much easier to tolerate. Probably people in your home, or if you yourself cannot stand the smell of sage, working with Shasta Sage might be a better option for you if you can find it. So with that said, when I was about to do some work and realized the energy in my home just felt, or at least in my space, didn't feel quite right, I happened to grab my Shasta Sage. It was just the first thing I saw and gravitated to, so I grabbed it. And I went and I saged my home, and I have a particular way, or I'm sorry, I smudged my home, and I have a particular way of smudging. I'll have to do another video on that, but I have a very particular way of doing it. Anyway, I did it the way I normally do it, and let me tell you, the energy shifted like no other I've ever felt. I felt the energy shift before, but that shift working with this bundle was entirely different. The energy was lighter. Whatever I was sensing just before, I mean, it was gone. It was completely obliterated. So I truly do believe in smudging process in general, but working with this sage is particularly special. So Anyway, that is Shasta Sage. I like it. Let me actually put this one out. And this is a good bundle too. Like when you light it, I'm not going out. You gotta work. You gotta do some work to put it out. Oh look, they finally stopped. Oh, never mind. Lies. Alright, well, I don't know. That'll burn out a little bit later. So, the next bundle I have is Pinyon Pine. And this was new to me too. I wasn't familiar with this until I saw it. I was like, what is Pinyon Pine? It looks interesting, and it is really interesting. So Pinyon Pine, I actually like the scent of this. Just want to talk about the scent right away because I thought it was really nice. It looks, as you can see, it has this, a pine. It's Pinyon Pine. So it definitely has that pine tree look to its herbs. And let me tell you, when I light it, it is one of the lightest smelling herb bundles I've ever worked with. Such a beautiful light scent to it. I actually lit it in my room, walked out, did something, came back maybe 10 minutes later, and I mean, my room smelled like the forest. It had such a pine, beautiful, earthy, but light earthy scent to it. I mean, it was just a gorgeous scent. So I actually really love the smell of Pinyon Pine. Now the properties of Pinyon Pine. This is a smudge smoke used to release pain like trauma, anger, old wounds, heartbreaks. It is very healing and very nurturing. It also has fertility properties. And so there you have it. It's something that is able to really dive deep and work out the muck of just living your life, you know, all the trauma that can come with it, the heartache, all the things that we have to endure here on earth. This is a nice herb to work with to kind of help cleanse and heal that wound and that trauma that comes with, the wounds that come with trauma. So that's a great herb to work with. And then heartache, I thought that was a nice one too. Anything that causes you any pain on an emotional level, Pinyon Pine is the herb that you want to work with. So if you find it, I would grab it because I think we all have trauma and wounds that we are always in the process of healing, because as long as you're on earth, you are you are still doing the work. So this is a great herb to work with to help with that. The next herb I have is Yerba Santa. I like working with Yerba Santa. This is a great herb. I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. So Yerba Santa stands for, yes, it means blessed herb. For me, it also means beauty herb, and that is what it means when you look it up online, and it'll say that it's the herb of beauty. My little secret I'm going to let you in on is that I've got this, I'm going to call it a love oil. That's all I'm going to call it. And I have been making this oil now for over a year, and it is a very, the intentions I put into it was to be attracting, of love, and of the sort. And so when I wear that oil, and if I wear it to work, I get a ton of compliments, and so I actually don't wear it to work anymore. I stopped wearing it. And but I did make it for a few friends, and I actually sold it to a few people. But it was such a great oil to work with, it's such a great oil to wear when you're calling in certain love energy into your life. Now, when I'm making that oil, Yerba Santa is an herb that I have burning constantly while working with that oil. When I'm making it, when I'm doing whatever I'm doing with it. Yerba Santa is such a beauty herb. When I feel like I need more self-love, or I just need to be kinder, gentler thoughts with myself, Yerba Santa is a great herb to work with as well. So my notes that I have here say, it's a smudge to usher in beauty and enhance your beauty. Also brings healing to spiritual works. What do I have here? Spiritual wounds. Oh, wounds that you may or may not be aware of. Explore your inner self and find the beauty that is naturally within you. So I think this is almost, like I said, it helps to when you are not being kind with yourself and not seeing the beauty that of course we all have. Each of us, every single one of us, are naturally beautiful in so many different ways, but sometimes it's harder for us to recognize it. And I feel like working with Yerba Santa, as well as other things that you need to do, but this is a great herb to use when you're trying to call in your beauty, or just making a beauty oil. If you're doing that, you know, you want to work with Yerba Santa. I absolutely love it. The blessed herb. All right, so the next herb I have on my list is Roux. Roux is over here. I don't work with Roux that often, actually. I bought it, but then I never really worked with it. So let me just light it. The smell of Roux, I know, is really strong though. Yeah, that's a strong one. I think this is a little stronger than sage. A little bit. This one is a little, I don't know. That's not, it's got a smell to it. You won't forget this one. This one definitely has a certain scent to it. So, Roux cleanses the head from mental tensions, probably because you're thinking about that smell. Also believed to protect and reverse hexes from others, or hexes that are placed on yourself, because we can do that. Romans 8 Roux to protect themselves against the evil eye. And I can understand why they would think it can reverse hexes and all of that, because this is a potent one. This is a strong smell to it. The second it hits your face, you're just like, yeah, okay, I got it. This is a powerful little bundle. I can tell. So, yeah, and it's great for when you're working with protection from hexes, anything to do with curses and hexes, and kind of reversing the such. Roux bundles are great to have on hand for stuff like that. So that's working with Roux, a very small, but you can tell, very mighty little herb to be working with. The next one I have here is my Palo Santo. So working with Palo Santo, everybody loves the scent of Palo Santo, right? I absolutely love the scent of Palo Santo. Everybody does. The only problem with working with Palo Santo is that it is the darndest thing to keep lit. When I light my Palo Santo sticks, I don't just like put a fire and blow it out. No, I let my fire sit and sit and sit and sit and sit for a long time. You almost want to heat up the core of the stick before you blow it. It's already going out, and that's fine. But yeah, you really want to let it sit. I usually let it sit for much longer than that. But the scent is like no other. So it has been called the holy wood, and it was given this name from monks. Monks believed in its clearing and healing properties, and just believed that it was a holy. Let me just read it actually, because I'm sure I have it down. Here it is. All right, so yes, holy wood raises the energy and vibration of your space. I use this while inviting God's love and energy into my space. Palo Santo gets its name from, Spanish monks who believed in its clearing, healing, and uplifting capabilities. So absolutely, especially after saging. I think if you're going to sage your space, you have no choice but to come back around with something like Palo Santo, Sweetgrass, anything, or you don't even need to smoke. You can just use your prayers, honestly. But you need to reinvite that loving, uplifting energy, that good energy. Just make sure after saging, you replace that energy. And it's even better to make sure that you protect the space that you have just created, if that makes sense. Once you've cleared something, invited God's loving energy, you want to protect it, close it up, and say, hey, this is what stays and this is how I want it. Anyway, but that's how how you work with Palo Santo. The other thing I want to mention though is I actually don't use Palo Santo sticks that often anymore, because I have Palo Santo cones, and it's easy to I make them actually, but you can buy Palo Santo shavings, and there's this other kind of powder, I forget what it's called, but a kind of powder that is flammable, or at least it holds a flame better. And so anyway, you mix those up, you make your little cones, and when you light a Palo Santo cone, that thing will not stop until you put it out. So unlike the stick that will die out within minutes, and maybe that's all you need, you probably only need a couple minutes of Palo Santo smoke, but if you want it to last much longer, I would go with the cones, to be honest. But working with the stick is great too. So Palo Santo, I love working with that. And I'm going to let that burn for as long as it will allow me to have it. So, of course, white sage is my next one on my list. Very important to mention. This used to be one of those, this was an 8, you know, one of those 8-inch bundles that you can buy. And I absolutely have to have an 8-inch bundle because I burn it so often. And this isn't even my only white sage bundle. But anyway, so white sage. This I love because you don't have to light this one much and it will just burn it. It's a nice piece of white sage that I also got from the Sage Goddess website. And again, you want to be careful with buying white sage because it is considered endangered, so you want to make sure that it's being sustainably and ethically harvested. This particular one I know is also organic, so, and it's both of those sustainably, ethically harvested, so that I'm not, you know, destroying the plant when I'm using it. I'm actually, the way I'm buying it, the way it's being sourced is ethically sourced. Anyway, so working with white sage, I'll just read my notes real quick. Widely known and used to clear negativity around your, negativity and move stagnant energy in your space. And it clears everything out that I've already said. Proven to reduce bacteria in the air. Our ancestors in the ancient times used this. And it's funny because they knew that it was clearing out bad energy. Well, now science is able to show that it actually does clear negativity out, clear bacteria out of a space. So, very interesting. It can also be used to call in protection. So, that's white sage. Very popular, very well known in the spiritual community. I love working with it. I work with it every single day. Just make sure that after working with it, you call back in God's energy, God's love, and all the good energy that is already in your life. One thing I wanted to mention is, I was in Walmart and they were selling this. This is called a sage bundle. That's what they said it was at Walmart. And I just bought it because of what I think it was like $2. And not that you can't get sage anywhere, but just as a cautionary. When I bought it, I was really super curious what it would smell like. I'm not even going to bother lighting it. It smells awful. It smells like burning paper. Nothing like an actual true sage bundle. So you don't have to spend a lot of money on sage, and you know it doesn't cost a lot of money to buy. But you do want to be wary. You probably don't want to buy your sage from places like Walmart or places of the like. You probably want to stick with your metaphysical shops or even just shops that sell herbs, because a lot of times those kind of shops do have ethically sourced sage bundles as well. So just be wary. I think I'm just going to keep this for decoration. I have no idea truly what it is because it's not sage. I don't know what any of it is. And it has like a super sweet scent to it, like they pour perfume on it, I think. I don't know. Just don't buy anything. Don't buy I buy all kinds of things from Walmart, but don't buy their sage bundles. I just bought it just because I was super curious what would really be in it. Alright, so my next bundle, if I didn't fit, black sage. My black sage is, right here. So this is actually, black sage is on one side and white sage is on the other side. So I don't have like a full black sage bundle. I'm going to try just to light the black sage side though. I actually really like working with black sage, as you can tell, because this one I've used quite a bit as well. And it has like a strong, it smells like sage, but like not more potent actually. I wouldn't say it's more potent. It's almost like I don't know how to explain it. I like it. I like the black sage scent more than the white sage scent. It's got just this, I don't know how to put it, almost like a masculine energy, a little heavier. I don't know how to explain it. I guess I don't know. It's like the Batman of sage. I really like it though. So what I have is black sage, ultimate protective shield of cleared space, also known to enhance dreams and visions. Burn before sleeping for vivid dreams and astral projection. So same thing as mugwort. And that's another point I want to mention. I've actually seen in different places where they say that mugwort and black sage are one and the same. Now when I look at my black sage and my mugwort bundle, I don't know, do they look the same? Maybe. Maybe parts are the same. It's hard to say. I don't know that they're the same. I've tried to look this up and I felt like I was finding conflicting messages. So I'm not entirely sure if they're the same. I don't think they are though. Okay, sorry. I don't know. My camera decided I was talking for too long, I guess. Anyway, now when I look at my mugwort bundle compared to my black sage, half of my other herb bundle, they don't necessarily look the same. There are some herbs in here that are somewhat similar. I mean, but herbs are herbs. But they don't look entirely the same to me. And I've tried to research this and get a more definite answer. And I didn't really come up with a definite answer. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I'm not sure if they're the same thing. I don't think they are. But I think it's interesting how they both have the same properties when you look up the definitions of psychic visions and burn it before sleeping for astral projection and protection while astral traveling. So either way, I love working with black sage. I do think it's a great thing to create. It's great to use this smoke if you want to create an energy, create a protective field. Once you've sealed in the energy that you want in your home, once you've cleared and brought in God's love, sealing it and protecting it with black sage is a really good idea. All right, so there's that. I only have one more bundle that I want to, and it's not really an herb bundle, but it's my tobacco. So tobacco, working with tobacco is so, and I'm just going to take a little piece off actually. This is like the tobacco leaves. It looks like they've been, you know, just put into a circle. And I don't want to unravel it. I know I'll just break it. So I like to just get like a little piece. You can't hardly see it. But getting a little piece and just burning it. So, and this smells more like burning paper. Not quite like burning paper, but it has more of a paper burning scent to it to me. So this is not the same thing as working with tobacco from the cigarette store, or like the tobacco found inside of a cigarette. That tobacco has been treated with all kinds of horrible chemicals. You don't want to have anything to do with that. So when you want to work with tobacco, do not go to 7-Eleven and go buy a pack of cigarettes. It's the last thing you want to do. It's better to go and find it at, you know, you can find tobacco leaves, I think at these pipe shops or something. I know that they do sell tobacco leaves that have not been chemically treated. But you just have to kind of look, maybe even online, for unchemically treated tobacco that you can use. The best way to work with tobacco is actually when you are honoring your ancestors. You kind of want to use the smoke of a tobacco leaf as an offering. That's what you're doing when you're working with tobacco smoke. You're actually offering it to your ancestors, offering it to your guides. You can also use it to cleanse yourself. I've seen it. There's many uses for tobacco smoke, and that's just a few of them. But yeah, that's just another thing that you can work with. So those are all of the bundles on my little plate here. I hope this video isn't too long, but hopefully the info that I have presented to you in this video is something that you will be able to remember and use in the future when you are at the metaphysical shop and standing in front of all of those various bundles. You will know exactly which herb will call in the specific energy that you are trying to work with into your space, okay? If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. If you loved this video and you want to see more of my content, don't forget to like and subscribe, because I am constantly putting out videos on things just like this, all right? And I hope that you continue to have a blessed day. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.